The call from the stars. The exploration vessel Athena drifted silently through the void, its massive fusion engines dormant as it coasted between star systems. On the observation deck, Commander Elena Reyes gazed out at the endless field of stars, a steaming cup of coffee warming her hands. 20 years of space exploration had done nothing to diminish her wonder at the vastness of space. "Commander," called Lieutenant Marcus Chen through the ship's comm system, "we've detected something unusual. You might want to see this." Elena made her way to the bridge, where the crew monitored a series of oscillating patterns on the main display. The bridge hummed with quiet activity as officers analyzed the incoming data. "What am I looking at, Lieutenant?" Elena asked, sliding into her command chair. "A signal, Commander," Marcus replied, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Definitely artificial, definitely not human. We picked it up on the long-range scanners about 20 minutes ago." Dr. Amara Singh, the ship's xenolinguist, looked up from her station. "It's broadcasting on multiple frequencies, Commander. The pattern suggests it's meant to be noticed." "A distress call?" Elena asked. "Most likely," Amara confirmed. "There's a mathematical sequence embedded in the signal that's universal. Prime numbers, binary encoding. Someone wants to be found." Elena studied the display. The Athena was 3 months into its mission, charting unexplored systems beyond the edge of human-controlled space. Protocol dictated they should relay the information back to Earth Command and await instructions. "Where's it coming from?" she asked. "A star system about 4 light days from our current position," Navigation Officer Kazuki Tanaka reported. "Uncharted territory." Security Chief Darius Jackson frowned. "Commander, Earth protocols are clear. We should report this and wait for authorization before investigating." Elena nodded, considering. How long would it take for a response from command? At this distance, nearly 3 weeks each way, Communications Officer Lin Wei answered. "And how long would it take us to reach the source of the signal?" "At maximum burn, about 36 hours, Kazuki replied. Elena drummed her fingers on the armrest of her chair. If this is truly a distress signal, whoever sent it might not have 6 weeks to wait. "It could also be a trap," Darius pointed out. "We've encountered hostile species before." "True," Elena conceded. "But it could also be someone genuinely in need of help. Isn't that why we're out here? To make contact, to explore, to assist when needed." The bridge fell silent as the crew considered their options. "Plot a course," Elena finally ordered, "but approach with caution. Full defensive systems online when we arrive." "Aye, Commander," Kazuki acknowledged, already entering the coordinates. As the Athena's engines roared to life, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to change the course of human history. The star system contained 7 planets orbiting a yellow dwarf star similar to Earth's sun. The signal originated from the 4th planet, a blue-green world with 2 small moons. As they approached, the ship's sensors detected signs of advanced technology, concentrated in a region near the planet's equator. "Life signs?" Elena asked. "Affirmative," reported Science Officer Priyapatul. "But they're strange. Not carbon-based like ours. Silicon-based, perhaps. And there appears to be some kind of conflict happening on the surface." Elena leaned forward. "Explain." 2 distinct energy signatures, Priya clarified. "One group appears to be defending a central location. That's where the distress signal is coming from. The other signature is expanding outward, consuming territory." "An invasion," Darius concluded grimly. "We're being hailed," Lin announced. "The signal matches the frequency of the distress call." "On screen," Elena ordered. The main display flickered, then revealed a creature unlike anything humans had encountered before. It resembled a translucent crystal formation, with pulsing blue light at its core. Where a face might be expected, a cluster of smaller crystalline structures shifted and realigned as it moved. "My designation is Sentinel, Lyra." The alien's words appeared as text on the screen while a synthesized voice translated. "I speak for the Lumari Collective. Please, if you can understand this message, we require immediate assistance. Elena straightened in her chair. I am Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth vessel Athena. We received your distress signal. How can we help? The crystalline being seemed to shimmer with what might have been relief. You respond. You comprehend. We did not know if any would answer our call. Our world is under attack by the Vex Hivemind. They consume all in their path. We cannot stop them. The Vex? Elena asked. They were once like us, Lyra explained, but chose to merge consciousness with machines. Now they seek to assimilate all life forms into their network. Our defenses fail. Our people die. Soon, nothing will remain of the Lumari. We don't have weapons that could repel a planetary invasion, Elena admitted. It is not weapons we seek, Lyra responded. It is you, your kind. Throughout our history, there are legends of beings from harsh worlds. Deathworlders, we call them, who evolved under conditions that would crush most sentient life. Beings of incredible physical resilience and adaptability. Elena exchanged confused glances with her officers. I'm not sure I understand. The environment the Vex create is toxic to Lumari physiology, Lyra explained. Our bodies are crystalline, fragile. We cannot survive in the conditions where the Vex thrive. High gravity, radiation, toxic atmospheres. But your species evolved on a world that would kill most spacefaring races in minutes. Dr. Singh leaned forward, fascinated. They're saying Earth is a death world by galactic standards. Our gravity, atmosphere, temperature variations, even our radiation levels, what's normal for us might be extreme for other evolved intelligences. Is this true? Lyra asked, the translator conveying hopeful tones. Can your kind survive harsh conditions? Can you fight where we cannot? Elena considered her response carefully. Humans have adapted to many environments on our world. We can endure a wide range of conditions. Then there is hope, Lyra said. Will you help us? Helena turned to her officers, seeing a mixture of caution and determination on their faces. Permission to land and assess the situation, she told Lyra. We'll need to understand what we're facing before committing to action. Granted with gratitude, Lyra responded. I will transmit safe coordinates. But hurry, the Vex advanced quickly. As the communication ended, Elena turned to her crew. Prepare a landing party. Environmental suits as a precaution. Dr. Singh, you'll handle communications. Lieutenant Chen, you'll monitor atmospheric conditions. Chief Jackson, security detail. Commander, Darius said quietly, we're about to involve ourselves in an alien war. Elena nodded gravely. I know. What if what they're saying is true? If this Vex collective is consuming entire worlds, they could eventually reach human space. Better to understand the threat now than wait until they're on our doorstep. The shuttle descended through swirling clouds, buffeted by strong winds. Through the viewport, they could see the stark contrast between the untouched regions of the planet, crystalline structures that caught the light in rainbow patterns, and areas overtaken by the Vex. Black, geometric formations spreading like a cancer. They landed in a protected valley where dozens of Lumari had gathered to meet them. The aliens watched in fascination as the humans exited the shuttle in their environmental suits. Lyra approached, body glowing softly. Our sensors indicate the atmosphere here remains untainted. Your protective gear may be unnecessary. Elena nodded to her team, and they cautiously removed their helmets. The air was thin but breathable, with a slight metallic taste. A demonstration, if you would permit, Lyra requested, extending what appeared to be a crystalline arm. This may appear concerning, but it will not harm you. Cautiously, Elena extended her hand. Lyra placed a small device on her palm that projected holographic readings. Incredible, Lyra whispered, the translator conveying awe. Your bone density, your muscle mass, the efficiency of your respiratory system, the resilience of your cellular structure, you truly are Deathworlders. What exactly is happening here? Elena asked, gesturing toward the distant black structures. Lyra led them to a command center housed within a massive crystal dome. Inside, holographic displays showed the Vex advancement. The Vex arrived 3 cycles ago, Lyra explained. They release nanomachines that convert matter at the molecular level, creating environments hostile to us, but perfect for them. High gravity fields, radiation, toxic gases. And you physically cannot fight in these conditions? Dr. Singh asked. We have attempted, another Lumari responded. Our warriors use mechanized suits, but they fail quickly in Vex territories. Our bodies shatter under increased gravity. Radiation sickens us within minutes. Elena watched the holographic battle map, noting how the Vex steadily consumed more territory. What would you have us do? There are only 15 of us. We have technology, weapons, defensive systems, Lyra explained. What we lack are bodies that can use them in the environments the Vex create. If you can reach their central processing node and destroy it, the expansion will temporarily halt. Temporarily? Darius asked. They will send another, Lyra admitted. But it would give us time to evacuate more of our people, to preserve our culture. Elena studied the map. Show me this central node. Lyra magnified a section of the display, revealing a massive black structure pulsing with energy. Here, but the environment surrounding it is lethal to Lumari. The gravity is twice what we can tolerate. The radiation would crystallize our cores. The atmosphere is corrosive to our bodies. Elena turned to her science officer. Priya. Analysis. Priya studied the readings. High gravity, about 1.5 times Earth normal. Radiation levels elevated but within tolerable ranges for short exposure. Atmosphere contains toxins, but nothing our filtration systems can't handle. In other words, Elena summarized, harsh but survivable for humans. You would risk yourselves for us? Lyra asked, lights pulsing with emotion. For a species you have just met. Elena looked at her team, seeing determination in their eyes. That's what we do. We help where we can. And if these Vex are as dangerous as you say, stopping them here might prevent them from threatening our worlds in the future. She turned back to the holographic display. Now, tell us everything about these Vex and how to fight them. We'll need weapons, transport, and every bit of intelligence you have. As the Lumari began sharing their knowledge, Elena couldn't help but feel that humanity had just been thrust onto a much larger galactic stage, all because of the unique challenges of the world that had shaped them. Strength from adversity. Dawn broke over the crystalline landscape, casting rainbow fractals across the command center where Elena and her team finalized their preparations. The Lumari had worked through the night, modifying their weapons and defensive systems to interface with human physiology. These energy rifles channel concentrated plasma bursts, Lyra explained, demonstrating the weapon's function. The Vex are vulnerable to disruptions in their neural network. One well-placed shot can disable their smaller units. Darius hefted the weapon, testing its weight and balance. Lighter than it looks. Our species builds for efficiency, another Lumari named Nexus added. We lack the physical strength your kind possesses. Elena studied the battle suit they'd provided. As sleek, flexible armor that enhanced rather than hindered movement, this will protect against radiation. To a degree, Lyra confirmed. For Lumari, it would be insufficient. For your biology, it should allow approximately 4 hours of exposure before reaching dangerous levels. 4 hours, Elena repeated. That's our window then. The plan was straightforward but dangerous. While the Lumari forces created a diversion at the southern perimeter of Vex territory, Elena's team would infiltrate from the east, making their way to the central node. Once there, they would plant destabilization charges designed to disrupt the Vex network. Remember, Lyra cautioned, the Vex are not individuals but extensions of a single consciousness. They learn quickly. They adapt. So do we, Elena assured her. They deployed at midday, using modified Lumeri transport vessels that skimmed just above the surface. As they approached Vex territory, the environment began to change dramatically. The air grew thick with particulate matter that scattered light in strange patterns. The ground below transformed from crystalline formations to black, geometric structures that seemed to pulse with internal energy. Environmental readings. Elena asked as their transport slowed at the perimeter. Marcus checked his equipment. Gravity increasing, about 1.4 times Earth normal. Radiation levels elevated but within tolerance. Atmosphere contains high concentrations of metallic compounds and something unidentifiable. Life signs? Darius asked. Nothing recognizable as life, Priya responded. But there's significant energy activity ahead. The Vex don't register as biological entities. The transport couldn't proceed further without being detected. They disembarked at the boundary, immediately feeling the increased gravity pulling at their limbs. Heavier than I expected, Dr. Singh admitted, adjusting her stance. Stay focused, Elena ordered. Move in formation. Conserve energy. They advanced on foot, using the irregular terrain for cover. The black structures rose around them like abstract sculptures, some reaching hundreds of meters into the air. Occasionally, smaller Vex units, spider-like constructs of black metal with pulsing blue energy at their cores, would pass nearby, but the team remained undetected. As they penetrated deeper into Vex territory, the environmental conditions worsened. The gravity continued to increase, making each step require conscious effort. The air became caustic, burning slightly in their lungs despite the filtration systems. I see why the Lumeri can't fight here, Kazuki commented quietly, sweat beading on his forehead despite the environmental controls in his suit. It's like walking through molasses while breathing fire. Keep moving, Elena encouraged. We're adapting. And they were. With each passing minute, their bodies adjusted to the increased gravity. Their breathing patterns changed to compensate for the thinner oxygen content. Their movements became more efficient, more deliberate. 2 hours into their mission, they encountered their first major obstacle. A ravine cut across their path, filled with a swirling black mist that their sensors couldn't penetrate. Analysis? Elena asked. Priya scanned the phenomenon. Some kind of nanomachine cloud. It's breaking down matter at the molecular level and reconstructing it into Vex materials. Can we go around? Darius suggested. Negative, Marcus replied, checking their navigation. It extends for kilometers in both directions. We'd lose too much time. Elena studied the situation. How deep is it? About 30 meters to the bottom, Priya reported. Then another 20 meters up the other side. Elena made her decision. We go through. Maximum shield settings. Move quickly and don't stop for anything. They descended into the mist, visibility immediately dropping to less than a meter. The nanomachines scraped against their armor, searching for weaknesses, attempting to interface with the technology. The team moved as rapidly as the heavy gravity allowed, each step deliberate and calculated. Halfway across, Lynn stumbled, falling to one knee. A swarm of nanomachines immediately concentrated on the joint of her armor, beginning to disassemble the outer layer. Stay still, Elena ordered, drawing her weapon. She fired a precise burst of energy, dispersing the nanomachines without damaging Lynn's suit. Can you continue? Lynn nodded, determination etched on her face. They pressed forward, emerging from the ravine with their armor corroded in places, but their bodies intact. The Lumari were right, Darius observed, examining the damage to his suit. Their crystalline forms would have shattered under these conditions. They continued toward the central node, which now loomed in the distance, a massive black spire reaching into the clouded sky, pulsing with blue energy. As they drew closer, they encountered more Vex units, forcing them to engage in combat. The Vex fought with mechanical precision, but lacked the adaptability of human warriors. Elena's team used terrain and unconventional tactics to their advantage, destroying dozens of units while conserving ammunition. They're learning, Priya warned after their third skirmish. Each group adapts to our previous tactics. Then we keep changing, Elena responded. Unpredictability is our advantage. 3 hours into their mission, they reached the base of the central node. The gravity here was nearly twice Earth normal, and radiation readings had climbed to dangerous levels. Their suits were failing in places, environmental systems struggling to compensate. We have about 45 minutes before radiation exposure becomes critical, Marcus reported, voice strained from the exertion of movement. More than enough time, Elena assured them, studying the structure. Placement points. Priya indicated 4 positions around the base of the node. Maximum structural impact if we detonate simultaneously. They split into pairs, each carrying destabilization charges designed to disrupt the Vex network. As they worked, the structures seemed to become aware of their presence. The pulsing blue energy intensified, and Vex units began converging on their position. Defensive positions, Darius called, as the first wave of units appeared. The fighting was intense. The Lumari weapons proved effective, but the Vex units kept coming in greater numbers and with increasing sophistication. The humans used every advantage, taking cover, using crossfire tactics, exploiting the Vex's predictable attack patterns. Last charge placed, Hazuki reported over the comm, setting timer for synchronized detonation. Everyone fall back to extraction point, Elena ordered. Move. They fought their way back through waves of Vex units, the increased gravity making every movement a struggle. Despite filtration, the toxic atmosphere burned in their lungs. Suit integrity warnings flashed on their HUDs as radiation levels continued to rise. 200 meters from the node, Marcus stumbled, a Vex energy beam having penetrated his armor at the knee. The suit sealed around the wound, but he couldn't put weight on the leg. Leave me, he urged as Elena dropped back to help him. Complete the mission. Not happening, Elena replied firmly, pulling his arm over her shoulder. Humans don't leave their people behind. Despite the crushing gravity and the pursuing Vex, Elena half-carried Marcus toward the extraction point, where the rest of the team provided covering fire. They reached the perimeter just as the destabilization charges detonated in perfect synchronization. The explosion wasn't like anything they'd expected. Instead of a conventional blast, waves of energy pulsed outward from the node, causing the black structures to vibrate at increasing frequencies. The Vex units pursuing them suddenly froze, then began moving erratically, some attacking each other, others simply shutting down. The network's destabilizing, Priya explained as they watched the chaos spread. Without the central node, they can't coordinate. The Lumari extraction vessel appeared above them, descending cautiously to the boundary of Vex territory. As they boarded, Elena looked back at the collapsing Vex structures, a mixture of relief and determination in her eyes. When they returned to the Lumari command center, they were met with a celebration that bordered on religious reverence. The crystalline beings glowed with colors the humans hadn't seen before, their translator struggling to convey the depth of emotion. "You have done what we thought impossible," Lyra told them, her form shimmering with intense light. "The Vex expansion has halted completely. Their remaining units are isolated, disorganized. They'll regroup eventually," Elena cautioned, accepting a medical treatment for her radiation exposure. This was only one node on one planet. "Yes," Lyra agreed, "but you have given us something we had lost, hope. And perhaps more importantly, you have proven the legends true. Deathworlders are real, and you are formidable allies." In the days that followed, as the team recovered from their injuries, discussions turned to the future. The Lumari proposed a formal alliance with humanity, sharing their advanced technology in exchange for human assistance against the Vex when needed. "You understand what this means?" Elena asked her officers as they considered the proposal. Humanity entering a galactic conflict, Earth becoming involved in interstellar politics. "It means we're not alone anymore," Amara replied quietly. "Both in the fight and in the universe. The Vex will eventually discover Earth, Darius pointed out. Better to face them with allies than alone. Elena nodded, looking out at the crystalline city that was already beginning to rebuild. All those challenges that shaped us on Earth, the gravity, the radiation, the changing climate, the predators, they weren't curses. They were preparation. For what? Kazuki asked. Elena smiled slightly. For being exactly what the galaxy needs right now. When the Athena finally departed the Lumari world, it carried with it not only advanced technology and a formal alliance agreement, but also a new understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. What they had always considered normal. Their physical capabilities, their adaptability, their endurance, were, by galactic standards, extraordinary. The distress signal that had led them here had done more than save one alien civilization. It had revealed humanity's unique role in a much larger story, as the Deathworlders who could go where others could not, fight where others would fall, and perhaps turn the tide in a conflict that spanned the stars. On the bridge of the Athena, as they set course for Earth with their momentous news, Elena gazed out at the stars with new eyes. Humanity had taken its first true steps into the galactic community, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as protectors, uniquely forged by their challenging homeworld, to be precisely what was needed when the call came from the stars.